And now, another Merica moment with Mr. Raymond.
Hey there, Grasshoppers, and today we are going to take a brief moment to talk all things Harriet Tubman, who was significantly more hardcore than what most people give her credit for. Harriet Tubman was born into slavery around the year 1820. When she was just a teenager, an overseer threw a metal weight at another slave, but it hit Harriet in the head instead. The head injury, as a result, gave her a condition called narcolepsy, which meant that it was really difficult for her to wake up once she fell asleep. Since few slaves were illiterate, and Harriet Tubman was illiterate her entire life, the route of the Underground Railroad had to be accessible by everybody. Harriet ended up using stars and other natural landmarks in the woods to guide her through her escapes. Now, her work on the Underground Road was really serious business. She avoided cops, dogs, mobs, bounty hunters, and slave catchers. And her escapees slept in swamps and moved only at nighttime. She recommended that people only escaped on Saturdays because slave owners kept the Sundays, the Sabbath, holy. And so that meant that news of the escaped slaves wouldn't be printed in the newspapers until Monday morning. Estimates of how many slaves she helped range as high as 3,000. She was known as the Black Ghost, and there was at least a $40,000 bounty on her head, which would be about equal to $1 million today. Harriet Tubman even served in the Civil War between 1862 and 1865 for the Union Army. She served as a nurse and a cook and a spy, and even led 150 Union soldiers into South Carolina, freeing 750 enslaved people. When she applied eventually for veterans compensation, it took her 34 years to get it, and only after the intervention of Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of State, William Seward. She was 78 years old at that time. She lived a remarkably full life, especially for an African American woman in that time period. She lived to the age of 91 years old, dying at a home in Auburn, New York. Harriet Tubman was buried with full military honors.
This has been another Merica moment with Mr. Raymond.